So flying an airplane is actually pretty easy. I can teach someone to fly an airplane in a couple hours. But landing an airplane, well, now that's the challenge. That's the hard part. That's where it is. My name is Charlie Smith. I am the president and founder of Pilotsmith. For those of you that don't know, I'm a pilot. So when I call pilots, I'm probably not going to be on time. So Pilotsmith, we're a flight school here in Green Bay, Appleton, and Milwaukee. We train people to fly aircraft that have never flown before, all the way to getting them to an airline career. We also train people that are local community members to be able to use an aircraft as a tool or something like that for them as well. So how did I get into flying aircraft? So originally, I'm a software developer. I was a software developer for 15 years. It's a desk job. You're in front of a computer. It's very logical, very structured. It can be fun sometimes, but usually you're just staring at a computer screen. Well, I wanted some form of escape or something different. You don't really have a view. You're sitting in a cubicle. You're there punching keys all day. I wanted something where I could go out and see the outside and have a little more fun. So I decided I want to become a pilot. I just woke up one day and said, airplanes are cool. I want to learn to fly one. So I went down to my local airport and started taking flying lessons. I worked through it, and I'm not going to lie, becoming a pilot's really hard. It's a lot of work. I went through it and I got my private pilot's license. That let me fly in basically good weather conditions. Then after I got my private pilot's license, I went on to get my instrument rating. That let me fly when the weather was not so good. Then I'm like, my insurance agent told me that, hey, if you get your commercial license, the price of your insurance would go down on your airplane. And I had a small little 4-seat aircraft, really tiny little Cessna airplane that I flew. So what did I do? I got my commercial rating. It was awesome. It was fun. Then I moved up here to Wisconsin. I was down in Missouri at that time. Moved up here to Wisconsin, and I saw that there was these instructors teaching, and it was just a hobby that was going on for most of these people. And I'm like, well, that is so cool. I would like to be a flight instructor too. I could teach on the weekends. I could have so much fun. This would just be awesome. So that's what I did. I learned, and I became a flight instructor. And I found out I was a good flight instructor too. And it's awesome to find something you're good at, and I had lots of passion in it. And next thing I knew, I was working 40 to 50 hours a week in the day job, 40 to 50 hours a week, if not more, in the afternoon job or the weekends and evenings. All the while I was going to UWGB at the same time to get my bachelor's in business administration. That's because I'm a software developer, and when I started in the .com era, all you needed was a technical degree. You didn't need a bachelor's, but I always wanted one. I'm like, I'm not a quitter. I finish everything I do. I have these technical degrees, but I want to finish that. So I went and finished that degree at the same time. So I was doing all three of them at the same time. Wow, that's a lot, right? You do some math real quick. That's 100 hours a week. What is it? 160? And I'm not doing 168 hours. I think is in a week. That means I got 68 hours of the rest of the week to do something for myself. You sleep, that's about it. Sleep, eat, and go do work. So I said something has to give. I love this flight school thing, but it won't work. It's not a career. I can't make this into a career. Well, talk about a blessing in disguise. The company I was working for at the time was going through downsizing, and they were giving great severance packages. And I had 15 years, so I was at the front of the line for that. I took that severance package, and that let me start doing my dream of running a flight school. I got blessed, I'll be completely honest. Not many people get that opportunity where come into a huge sum of money to be able to start a business with. I did. I was debt-free, started a business, bought an airplane, all without having any debt, which is just amazing at that point. So I started running the flight school, and things were going well. It was rough. It was hard. I won't lie. Starting a business, everyone knows it's true. You've heard stories and seen successes, and the first year was really tough. In fact, about a year into it, I had to pick up a second job, as a software developer, just to get things going by, to keep moving forward. to keep the thing I loved, that I was passionate about, to keep it running, I just did what I had to do. So I did that second gig for about 6 months, and I was just looking at myself. I'm like, there's these other flight schools in these markets, Vegas and Orlando, and I know they're bigger markets, but they're successful. But Green Bay has people too. What makes us different between us and these different markets? And what I discovered was that a lot of them were doing training differently. I was doing the most budget form of training I could do, and I said, well, we need to pivot or change a little bit and go into a premium type training environment. So we did. I went out, found some friends. We bought our first Cirrus aircraft together. I found 5 partners to go into that aircraft with me, and we bought that first airplane. It became a Cirrus training center. It was awesome. It was great. I'm like, all right, this is viable now. I don't have to have 2 jobs. But I know that if it were me, if there were a recession, the first thing I would probably cut out would be my flight training or flying of aircraft, right? Because that's the easiest thing to give up is your hobby. So I decided that there was another local flight school that was Cavu Flight Academy. I went out and purchased that flight school and actually had the owner of it at the time run it for the next year for me. And it was great because it was my plan. 5 to 10 years, I'm going to build this amazing airline program that's going to supplement my flight school, because I had airline friends. They all told me, man, we're going to have this huge pilot shortage in 5 to 10 years. Everyone's telling us we're going to have this huge pilot shortage. Then COVID happened. I don't know if you guys know this or not, during COVID, it was kind of crazy. Yeah, it was even more crazy in the pilot world because all my airline friends, and I had a lot of them, almost all of them took early retirements or changed careers. And I'm thinking, what's going to happen here? If all these people I know that are seasoned, I lost my buddy passes and everything else, which kind of sucked, but all these people that I know that were at the airlines are now gone, there's got to be someone to replace them. This is going to be a media frenzy. It's going to be a hiring frenzy. So, thankfully, with the support of my wife, we bought more airplanes. We funded the company's payroll. We basically changed the entire image of the company. We went from a 1099 contractor, quasi-type company to a, hey, everyone is hired, they're an employee, we're going to make sure they get benefits, they're going to get everything, we're going to change the way we do business. Did that. I went out and hired 3 instructors during COVID-19. And this was after being shut down for 30 days because we weren't sure if it could be open. We're education has to be shut down. And we're aviation can be open. Which am I? I'm both. So we got clarification. We finally got open back up. And then we started running with it. We started growing. And then I realized real quickly, I need help. I cannot do this alone. I'm one guy, I've got all these different things going on, so I hired a flight school manager, Trent. Awesome guy, love him. He saved me and turned the career training program into something viable as well. I was not planning for that program to exist for another 5 to 10 years. We were able to take this career program, and in fact, that first year after getting him on board, I was able to focus my efforts on the Cirrus program with the addition of the help of my flight instructors. And that year we won Cirrus Training Center of the Year for North America, the smallest market ever to win the award. Still to this day, the smallest market to win that award. And that was back in 2021 when we won that award. So that was awesome. That was great. So today, Pilotsmith has now grown into 3 major locations. We had little locations, Shawano and Menominee. We just learned that it's bigger to focus in our metropolitan areas, Green Bay, Appleton, and Milwaukee. We have a little over 350 students. I didn't do it all. I really, truly just found the right staff to make it happen and gave them an environment where they could achieve success. So what I'd like to do now is loop back to that little story I told you about learning to fly. And I want to talk about the landing just for a moment. There's 2 things I really want you to know about landing an aircraft. One, is you can't rush it. And the second one, let's talk about the not rushing it first. So if you're coming into to a flare and you try to force the aircraft into the ground, it's going to wind up being a problem. You're simply not going to be able to make it. The trick to landing an aircraft is to get it right above the ground and hold it, and just hold it there, and eventually the aircraft will land itself. Thank you.